on behalf of the Greeley Area Chamber of Commerce, we want to welcome you to this special election edition of Common Grounds that we hold monthly, where a lot can happen over coffee. This platform gained us 45,000 views virtually and is now an investor favorite. And we want to give all our investors a special thank you for joining us this morning. We also want to welcome our elected officials who are joining us today and thank them for their service. We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. You'll see them on the slides behind me here throughout the event. Out of the Blue, Chevron, and Apartments at Maddie and Alpine Flats. If we can ask for a round of applause for those sponsors. Our sponsors are growing, so if you're interested in supporting us at this event, please do. My name is Jamie Henning. I'm the president of the Greeley Area Chamber of Commerce, representing over 700 investors in the Greeley area. And we are working to advance our main objective, establishing Greeley as the best place to do business. We're a strong and unified voice with regional reach and the ability to collaborate and build consensus. Our main goal to help our investors succeed and to advance the needs of commerce. One of the most important ways we do this is through advocacy. We know businesses matter, which is why we proactively monitor policies that could adversely affect them, working closely with our elected leaders at the local, state, and federal levels to connect on the needs of our business community on important issues that affect them. We are there with our businesses every step of the way to ensure that the business voice is heard. I want to take a quick point of privilege. I have a couple of board members here today, so if you're on the Greeley Area Chamber of Commerce board, can you please give a wave? Thank you for supporting this event. I appreciate it. We also have a number of our elected leaders, and we're going to have to really stay on time today to work through making sure all their voices are heard. So if you're an elected leader and you're here with us today, running unopposed, in any case, we want to thank you for your service. So elected leaders, please raise your hand. Give a quick wave. Thank you. You'll find our advocacy work in the slides that we're going to present today too, but I'd like to do a little table setting and set the tone for our conversation. The Chamber serves as a nonpartisan convener, bringing together parties to have conversations around our Common Grounds forums that have already brought hundreds of investors together. Today is about thoughtful civil discourse. We want to ensure we're respectful of each other's thoughts and experiences and opinions as we share our own. Each time we meet, we're promoting greater education and understanding about this community that we all care about. Our goal is to discuss issues important to our business climate and their success. And I think we all agree our community needs to talk, connect, and have important conversations around how we work together through growth in our business community and the community at large. Do you think we can find that consensus today? I feel confident. I think we can do it. We're going to go ahead and get started this morning. And again, I wanted to give a chance for those running unopposed to give a few comments. So we're going to make a little exception for them so they don't have to sit on the dais through all of it. We're going to give them a 1.5-minute opener and then no close so that they can come out and join you in the audience. But yes, if all our city council candidates can join us up front, that would be great. Looks like we've got them all up. I'm going to share microphone. I can project, so.
Oh, you're also making me kick things off, Jamie? You're killing me, Jamie.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with Tommy. And again, Tommy and Dale get a 1.5 minutes. The challengers only get a minute, but they will get all the questions. So go ahead and get started. And Yessie, right here in the front row is your timer. So Yessie, are you ready? Okay, Tommy, 1.5 minutes.
You can give me a little leeway on this. It's fine if you're not ready. Good morning. My name is Tommy Butler. I currently serve the good people of Ward 1 on the Greeley City Council. That is Northeast Greeley and a little chunk of Central Greeley. It has been the honor of my life to serve on the Greeley City Council. I'm running for re-election unopposed right now, so I have a lot less stress than 3 of the folks up here. I don't have less stress than Dale. No one has less stress than Dale. But I am going to use my roughly minute left here to just talk about some of the great things we've been doing as a city and talk a little bit about where we're headed. So the things I'm really proud that we've done as a city, we are tackling our affordable housing crisis head on. We've approved over 920 units of affordable housing. We've rezoned and gotten state and federal dollars for those projects. That is going to revolutionize housing cost in this community. But we still have a lot more to go. We're still creating a housing department. Oh, I've only got a minute. I'm not going to get sidetracked on affordable housing. And then we are also doing some really amazing things with infrastructure equity. We are investing in East Greeley for one of the first times in a long time. One of the things I'm most proud of on the City Council, if you go by 5th Street, between 14th and 23rd Avenue, that was one of the worst sidewalks in our community. It was a sidewalk that should have been replaced 10, 20 years ago. It has finally been redone. We've repaved the roads there, and people are taking ownership of their own homes. It's truly remarkable. I want to make sure that we're continuing to invest in East Greeley, continuing to invest in our downtown, and in our business community, and continuing to build that affordable housing that we desperately need. And I nailed the minute in 30 seconds.
All right, next we'll pass it to Dale, and then we'll come back.
Okay. Thank you. I'm Dale Hall, and I am on the chamber. I'm representative for the City of Greeley on the chamber board this year. I've also been on the chamber board in past history. I represent Ward 4 in Greeley, which is on the west side, and we're getting all the growth going out that direction. So one of the things that I've been working on is trying to maintain some smart growth to the point where we watch it and we plan for it and we make it happen as it's growing rather than waiting for it to already be there and then we have problems coming up. So we're trying to work from that end of it. My history is my wife and I have a property management company, and I have been lucky enough to be able to retire from that. So my wife is the one that's actually doing all the work now, and that makes me happy. And 7:30 in the morning is a little early for me, but it works, I guess, if we have to. Had to use my alarm clock. But previously I was a county commissioner and a state representative, but when I got appointed in 2018 as Ward 4 City Council member, that was the best thing that happened from my political world, because I think coming home to Greeley is what really makes me feel good. And I was reelected in 19, and I'm glad to know that I'm going to be reelected again in 2023. Thank you much.
Thank you so much. All right, you can turn the mic back over to Frank, and then we'll actually let those who are running unopposed come down if they want to step down. It'll give our candidates a little more room to spread out. So, all right, so 1 minute opener. 1 minute opener for Frank.
Hi, my name is Frank Freeman. I'm running for City Council at large for Greeley, and I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. So I am married for 22 years. I have 2 teenagers, a 16-year-old girl and a 14-year-old boy. And my why for doing this is, did I lose it? My why for doing this is I'm a youth mentor. I've been a coach for several years. My mom actually was very active in my community as a kid, and I think this will be a natural extension of that. I have an MBA in business. I work in IT for the city of Loveland. I'm an IT manager, and I think that I'll be able to provide some oversight for how we're doing our technology here. Our family business moved here from California back in the 90s, and they were a wire and cable company. They went from 9 people to 96 people, and so my father-in-law was my business mentor, so I have a deep love and affection for the trials and tribulations of small business. So please feel free to go to my website if you need more information about me, since we probably won't get to cover it all here. And I appreciate you all being here this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Melissa's next.
Good morning, Greeley.
Good morning.
I know it's early, but thanks for being here. Thank you to the Chamber for hosting this event this morning, to all of those running logistics to have this meeting, and to all of you for getting up early to come listen to us. I'm Melissa McDonald. I'm a small business owner here in Greeley. I grew up in Eaton, but most of my time has been spent in Greeley. I graduated from Ames Community College and UNC. I worked at State Farm Operations while I was going to college and decided that I wanted to be an agent. I had the opportunity to choose Littleton or Greeley to open my agency, so I chose Greeley. Both my husband and I live here in Greeley with our 2 Labrador fur babies. We're both business owners here, and this is a natural progression for me, as I have given a lot back to this community and have served on many boards. I'm excited about the growth that we're about to see, and I'm excited to be here this morning, so thanks for being here.
Thank you. Sean, you're next.
Good morning, everyone. I am not going to use this because it's just Skippy. I'm Sean Short, and I have a 501c3 nonprofit called Blooming Health Farms, where we help at-risk youth, the ones that are involved with the criminal justice system, try to find purpose through agricultural entrepreneurship. Really, I have a chicken farm where we teach kids the life skills they need to do what they need to do. My background's in agriculture and oil and gas, and those are huge, important industries here. And as someone that brings this varied experience, I believe I'm the most qualified to collaborate and facilitate the conversations that are going to be necessary to bring business together, to bring government together, and have the solidarity that we're all looking for. I love this town. I was born in Fort Collins and have moved here with my family. My dad, as a veterinarian, oversaw some of the cattle at JBS and other places as well. And it's just been a place where I always seem to come back to. I went to school at the University of Hawaii, and I came back here. So that says a lot about Greeley. I mean, seriously. So thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with some questions. You don't all need to answer, but if you'd like to answer, you will all have an opportunity. I'm actually going to go in reverse order and start with Sean this time, and you'll have a minute to answer each of these questions. So first question is, what do you see as the city's role in retaining business and attracting new business and employees?
I love this question. Someone who I've studied quite a bit is Ralph Nader, and there's a book called 17 Solutions. And one of the things he advocates, which I believe is government's role in business, and that role is, I believe, is procurement. I think the government in and of itself is one of the largest purchasers of products, goods, and services, and we have so many tremendous small businesses here in our community that make the things that our city employees wear, the things that the city employees need to conduct their business. So I think it's advantageous for the government to continue doing the procurement that they do, but that would be a very clever and continuous way for government and city to understand what they got to do to move things forward.
All right, Melissa, you're next.
I'm going to use the microphone. Oh, no.
Gotta yell.
Hello? Okay. I have a loud voice, so I'm okay with that. The role of the city being in business is vital. The economy is built on the backs of business and small businesses. So there is a lot of things that Greeley is doing that we need to tout our own horn on. For example, the Greeley Community Development is a highly unutilized fund that helps small businesses open businesses. It gives loans to minority groups and remodeling of different buildings to be able to open a small business. So it is important for our economy, and our city has to bring in small businesses. Greeley is no longer a place where we just have to sit and wait for them. We have to go out and find the businesses that we want to have here that's going to fit Greeley and fit our economy.
Thank you. Frank, would you like an opportunity to answer the question as well?
Repeat the question?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you see as the city's role in retaining business and attracting new business and employees?
So I think that what's most important is creating an environment that encourages businesses to grow, to flourish, and to stay. Also, having an ability to grow incomes and grow business in this area is very important. So we have a lot of people leaving Greeley to go work somewhere else. Maybe we can encourage more of them to stay here. The city manager and his team is working to increase technology with a technology hub in Greeley. I think that's great. That's something that we can grow. We have an educational system here with UNC and with Ames that I think will funnel a lot of smart individuals into our community and into our jobs. So that's very important to me that the youth are prepared and able to take these jobs and help us to become an even more profitable and economically profitable city.
Okay, well, we're going to start with you this time. So another question that leans into that, it's more about the how. How do you plan to ensure a business-friendly environment where businesses can grow and thrive?
So back in the 90s, my family, my in-laws family, they moved their company here to Greeley. They were encouraged to move here, and they grew that from 9 to 96 employees and sold it successfully and successfully retired. We're doing something similar with that with Alquist and bringing a company here that will probably change an industry. We're preparing future students in education to learn how to manage and operate that equipment. So I think in the city here, we need to look at new and unique ways to encourage people to get into industry and to stay here and grow our community.
Melissa, you next.
We need to eliminate as much red tape as possible to allow businesses to come here and do business with us. And we need to look at things in a different way. I want a can-do attitude. How can we make this work? is it a good fit for Greeley? Not all businesses are going to be a good fit for Greeley. But something that comes to mind that I was really proud and impressed by the city and city council that they had approved a couple months ago was the cigar club. And they figured out a way to make that work and bring it into our city. So I think that's exciting. We need to keep that momentum going with that attitude, is that can-do attitude, and making sure it's a good fit for our community.
Wonderful. Sean?
So the question is how
How do you plan to ensure a business-friendly environment where businesses can grow?
advocate for procurement. I talked extensively about that. So we need to look at the local communities, businesses, other people out here and say, hey, what you got? We need this badge. We need this shirt. We need these things to conduct business. And we can source significant amount of that stuff here. I would advocate for 80 to 90% of our stuff in some level be purchased here in Greeley. And that supports small business, that supports large business, that supports our youth, that supports the entire community.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and start with you with the next question, if that's all right. Water is a critical resource for growth. What solutions can you identify to shrinking water availability for citizens and businesses alike, and how will you use your voice?
I love water. I published a book called Thinking Outside the Soil, which shows farmers and ranchers how they can use technologies to save water hydroponically and use 90% less water. Those technologies are integral to all of what we do, and at the core of everything, food and water are our most important things here in this community. So I would advocate and push for implementing these things and putting hydroponic facilities and or mechanisms into our municipal buildings and start there. As a high-performing government, we have the opportunity to really showcase how we can do these things and then reach out into the other enterprises that we're touching, like our school systems, our library district as well, and put these things in there and significantly save the amount of water that we're using in order to produce what it is that we're producing.
Great. Melissa, you're next.
So everybody has an opinion of the Bittersweet Park project. And I certainly understand the direction that we're going there. We need to preserve our sustainability for the growth that we're about to endure. And so projects that I want to continue to promote within the city is the Life After Grass. It is a program through the city that financially incentivizes residents to do xeriscaping. So water is vital for the growth that we're about to, so we need to do some things differently and make sure that we have the water to sustain the growth we're about to endure.
Okay. So I think we need to continue to stay aggressive on our water sources, making sure that we aggressively continue to maintain and to capture new sources. Some of us are familiar with what happened with building in Severance, how they ran out of water and were unable to complete their building project. So I think as far as building here, that's very important that we maintain our sources of water. I want to continue focusing on water conservation, maybe education with that, and also looking at ways to do more xeriscaping for the city here.
All right, we're going to go ahead and start with you this time, if that's all right, on the next question. How has your background and experience prepared you to oversee the complexities of the city of Greeley?
Okay, great. So on a daily, I review contracts and I manage budgets and I oversee technology efforts in my job. So for me, I feel uniquely prepared for this. Also, I have an MBA, so not that that says a ton, but that I do have a background in education and learning how to look at business and look at numbers from a business perspective. So I think I would be uniquely qualified for that. Also, I would bring technology oversight to the council. So we have a lot of strong folks on the council right now, and I would bring technology to that. And lastly, I've seen from other towns the decorum. I think we here have a great opportunity to continue to work together as opposed to other cities that they want to fight for like 5 hours. So I think we get a lot done in a short period of time, and we're welcoming to business in that way because we get along and we get stuff done.
All right, Melissa, we'll go to you next.
My background as a small business owner, I set a budget for my business every year. So I know that ebbs and flows with the year, the marketing, what's going on in the market. So I want to make sure that I have oversight of the budget, that I'm spending your tax dollars wisely. My experience with being on city council is I've served on 9 different boards in the 10 years I've been a small business owner here in Greeley, and I've completed 4 courses that has helped me learn and become more knowledgeable about the city and about our county. I also had the opportunity with Greeley City leadership and Weld County leadership and small business owners here in Greeley to go on the Achieving Community Excellence Summit in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So I saw firsthand how county, city, and business leaders come together to create different things. G-Hope came out of that and Bright Futures came out of that. So we just need to collaborate as a county and a city.
John?
I'm repeating that real quick.
No, absolutely not. How has your background and experience prepared you to oversee the complexities of the city of Greeley?
This is a very complex city. It's a growing city. I remember when I first came here, when Montfort was what it is, and I could play in all of these different fields here. Very familiar with growing up, and as the only one that's had the experience in the agriculture and the oil and gas industry, those are our biggest industries here in Weld County, and Greeley specifically is where most of our headquarters are for those industries. So one big thing about working in the oil and gas or the agriculture industry, for those of you that have, you likely know that we're very closed-chest people, and we don't talk to a lot of those people that we don't know, like, and trust. So I have the advantage of having relationships with those in the industry so that we can facilitate those conversations. But I also bring a background in molecular biology and systems engineering, so I know how to look at things from the infinitesimally small to the absolutely large and be able to understand how all those things are interconnected.
Okay, we have 3 questions left. We're going to start with you this time. One more question back to you. Greeley is one of the fastest growing and most vibrant communities in the NoCo region, with citizens engaged in varied interests and pursuits. How will you help set a standard of civility?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Civility. I believe that civility comes through building a community that's full of compassion and love. One of the things that I advocate and do with my nonprofit is teach people who have seemingly lost their way how to find a path in life and become contributing members of our community through their own desires and through the work that we need to do to make a good city. You know, we're out on the streets picking up the trash that we need to do. So I think as a leader of this city, what we have to be able to do is continuously be that shining example that exists for others to see. You know, our actions speak significantly louder than our words. And it's not what we say, it's not some things on a piece of paper that are the LinkedIn profiles that you could look up on me, but it's what we do that defines us.
Melissa, you're next.
Civility is a polite and courteous way, courteous to the citizens of Greeley. I serve Hispanics, Somalians, Vietnamese, Iranians, and various other cultures, and I help them understand their insurance and financial needs. And I also help them enable them to financially make sound decisions and connect them to the community.
All right, Frank, do you need restatement?
Sure.
Are you okay on the question?
I could go.
Okay.
So we are a very diverse city, and it's been really great to be a part of a city that I can fully immerse myself in with raising my family. And through coaching, I'm a football coach right now, but I've done a lot of coaching with basketball as well. And it's really awesome to see the youth mentorship that I've been able to accomplish, seeing these young people going from being maybe in elementary school to now high school, to working at cables, to running up to me in the city and saying, hey Frank, this is what Coach Frank, this is what I'm working on. And so to me, that's been a real honor to be able to be a part of that. And I think everything starts with our youth here. So as long as we're building them up properly, we can do great things in Greeley.
All right, we're going to start with you this time, and Councilman Butler helped me tee this question up. What strategies would you pursue to keep the city affordable for residential living and commercial?
So a lot of it starts with raising incomes. So if we can get incomes raised here, I think that would help a lot of individuals. Now, that's not the only solution, but there are a lot of folks that are new. I think of myself when I was starting out with my wife, we were young, renting. Well, nowadays, a lot of folks, they cannot get out of their apartments or save for a home. So for them, it's very important to find a way to either have a raised income or a lower cost of living. So anything that we can do to encourage that so they can be in a better place, that we can help them, because they are suffering. They may not be homeless, but they are suffering and they want a better life. And I think it'll help us to have a better city and better community if we can help those individuals.
Melissa, you're next.
Oh, housing, this is a big topic, and I'm excited about it because we have a lot of permanent buildings going up, but there's a reason for that. Younger people can't afford a $430,000 house. They can't afford the down payment on that. We need to find something that is more affordable. So back in 2001, there was legislation that was passed that's called the Colorado Construction Defect Act. And that made builders have insurance, funny, that was very, very expensive. So they don't build condos right now. I think it would be a game changer for Greeley. It would be a game changer for our state, for young people to get in their first-time home buyers in that smaller condos. And we need to build condos to provide that small, that first-time home buyer. I also feel that we need some patio homes. I talked to a lady in her 60s that is a widow. She lives in a 4-bedroom house by herself, and it's just too big for her. But there's two things. She wants to downsize, but she doesn't want to live in an apartment. She wants to have a little yard for her dog and a vegetable garden. So we need to look at housing for our elderly and make sure that the credits transfer over to, sorry.
Move on. No, sorry about that. All right, Sean, second to final question to you. Do you want me to repeat? What strategies would you pursue to keep the city affordable for residential living and commercial?
There's another person running for office, and I love the motto. It says experience matters. So how many of you have been homeless and then bought your first home here in Greeley? As someone who's lived across these different spectrums in this world, I offer that experience, but the strategies that I use to get there is what I would be able to bring to the table and share with these individuals in our communities by fostering the communication that is necessary to figure out what is it that we actually need from you, and then being able to show them through, I'm a huge believer in education, but being able to show individuals what their path could look like, and then putting them on that path and holding them accountable for those things. We have a lot of different mechanisms. We've heard a couple different things from the other members, and there's no need to repeat. Those are great ideas that we need to be able to absolutely implement into these individuals that are looking for the things that they're looking for.
Thank you. All right, final question to you. Greeley was built on smart and innovative practices and continues to be forward-thinking in sectors ranging from energy and agriculture to arts and culture. What will you do to drive further innovation in the city of Greeley?
This is a neat question. I remember reading it. I'm an artist, I'm a scientist, I'm an educator. I will continuously push for those things. And I'm also a small business owner myself. I built a nonprofit 501c3 all by myself from the ground up. And I think sometimes it helps to define what that is as an individual. But I think I have to draw on that experience from all of those different things and be able to implement and continuously advocate for the art on the street, for the science and data that we're using to make decisions. And yeah, leave it there.
Thank you. All right, Melissa, you're next.
This question made me think of you, Sean, as I was thinking about it. We need to look at potential partnerships with companies like Ziant and Alansco. They're ag tech companies that we could bring here into Greeley. We need to think about doing more with less. So growing more vegetables with less water, having more livestock yield with less grain. So those are the innovative ways that I would bring to Greeley.
Thank you. All right, Frank.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Greeley was built on smart and innovative practices and continues to be forward-thinking in sectors from energy and agriculture to arts and culture. What will you do to drive further innovation in the city?
So there's nothing that I can physically do, but I think there are areas that we can support that we want to encourage. There is the Alquest contract that just happened that will do 3D home printing for the area, and I think that's a great one. That's going to lower the cost, building costs, 15 to 20%. They're starting with Habitat, so that's going to be great. I was talking with Sherry Whit Brown on that, and they're really excited about what Habitat's going to do with them. So that will drive an industry here that's going to be great. I also think with my job, I make decisions that are informed based on data, and I provide that to my CEO. So I really value data-driven decision-making, educated decision-making. I think additionally too, our children here, we need to make sure that they are educated in a way that they can jump into a career or into a job role and be completely prepared for that. No remedial education starting at college. They need to be ready to go for college and be ready to come into our community and actually apply themselves to our industry. So that's what I support here.
All right, we're ready for our 1-minute close. We're going to start with you, Frank, and work our way down, and then we'll offer a round of applause for all our candidates today.
So thank you for coming out this morning, and I know it's a lot to get here, and it certainly was a lot for me, but I'm actually encouraged to see so many people that are engaged and interested in what we're doing. This is an exciting time for Greeley in our growth. We have a chance to make a decision which way Greeley is going to go, and so I think that this November, when you're out there voting, you're going to make that decision. Which way do we want to go with Greeley? I encourage everyone here that if you're interested in learning more about me that you didn't hear today, go to my website, frankfreemanforgreeley.com, or you can go to my social on Facebook and you can see what I'm doing on a daily basis. I work hard for the city. I've been working hard since May, and I'm continuing to do so. So I have my foot on the gas, going full speed. I will work hard for Greeley. And I just want to make sure that everyone knows that I like to collaborate and work as a group. So I think I'll be a great addition to City Council. And together, we can make a difference. So thank you very much.
All right, Melissa, we're ready for your close.
My love for Greeley will continue to collaborate with various entities of our city leaders. I will continue to work hard for you and be a champion of Greeley with passion to make Greeley the best city to live, work, and play in. It takes leaders with vision to help people with dreams. I thank you for coming today, and I would appreciate your vote on November 7th.
Thank you. All right, Sean, your 1-minute close.
Oh, thank you, guys. As we're wrapping up here, I really want us to just make sure we're focusing on what's ahead of us. I'm asking for your trust and your vote, and I've got innovative and actionable ideas that I will implement and advocate yours as well if they're a great idea. Now, you don't see my name everywhere, and that's really because this is about the citizens. This is about you guys. This is about the lady that is on the bus that can't get food for her kid, who is hungry, who can't think, who can't contribute to our community. This is about building a community in solidarity and a good team that's going to lead Greeley along into the future. And I offer this cacophony, this huge package of skills and knowledge that will foster so much more conversation than we're used to. And some of the things that we need to be doing here in Greeley, we have an opportunity to bring more people to the table. So I ask for your vote on November 7th. Thank you, guys.
Wonderful. Well, I want to take a moment to say the Chamber stands ready to work with you all, whatever the election results bring. And I want to ask Dale and Tommy to just step next to our candidates up here. And I'd like to ask for a big round of applause for everyone at the panel. All right, our next group of candidates up as we reset here are Greeley-Evans District 6 candidates. So if you can come forward, that would be great, and just give us one moment here as you visit to reset, and then we'll get started. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and get started. If I can get everyone's attention, we'll go ahead and get started here. So we're going to go ahead and go through and do our opener first. Start down on this end with Doran. So I'll go ahead and let you get started. 1 minute for your opener. And watch Yessie here. I'll just mention, sorry, one more thing. Yield is halfway through your minute. So if you see start, yield, and stop, you'll get 1 minute. So.
Take just a moment of my time to say that this mic is not for the folks in the house. This mic is for the folks online. So just so you know. All right, my name is Doran Azari. I taught orchestra in School District 6 for over 30 years, taught kids from 6th grade on up to 12th grade, thousands of them, worked with thousands of parents over those over 30 years. I currently do a lot of board work here in Greeley, served on the Historic Preservation Commission, also served on the North Front Range Metropolitan Planning Organization as on the Citizens Advisory Council. That's tracking growth here in Greeley and throughout northern Colorado over the next 50 years. And I currently am also on the district's mill levy oversight committee, making sure that the mill levy dollars are spent in accordance with the ballot language upon which they were approved. So I'm really glad to be here this morning. Thank you for the Chamber for hosting, and I look forward to hearing from my fellow candidates. Thank you.
All right, you're next. Right?
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for hosting us this morning at Common Grounds. My name is Dr. Brenda Campos-Spitzy. I'm a family doctor at Sunrise Community Health. I've been serving District 6 students and families there since 2014. And after 10 years of working in the exam room with these families, I decided I wanted to make a bigger difference. So last fall, I applied and was appointed to fill a vacancy on the District 6 board. So I've been serving as a school board director for the last 11 months, learned a lot about District 6, about our history, how far we've come in the last 9 years under the strong leadership of Dr. Deirdre Pilch. I've jumped into the directorship role with both feet and have dedicated myself to the job. I've cut down on my clinic hours in order to give more to the directorship role. And I'm hoping that this fall voters will decide to let me continue the hard but rewarding work of serving our students, schools, and communities and leading us forward.
Wonderful. Elda, you're next.
Well, my name is Elda Yvette Palacios. I go by Yvette. I moved here 12 years ago from Northern California, which is in Davis, and which I've worked with physically, mentally disabled people for 17 years total. When I came to Colorado, my first job was to work in group homes with mentally and physically disabled people that were, some of them had been abandoned by their families, and other ones had very severe problems with medical issues that they needed up to tube feeding. Later on, I worked in the oil and gas industry as a security guard, and then now I'm working in finance for a local company here in town. And in all that, I also worked in Head Start for quite a while, and now here I am in this endeavor. So, thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Stacy Castile. I am a mother of 3 children. I am an Air Force wife. I am a MBA holder. I got my master's degree, cum laude, all while being a single mom. I was able to take a situation and show my daughter how through hard work and determination, you too can go on to achieve great things. I work for a Fortune 500 company where I work for 8 of their 12 US locations while assisting with Canada. I have a lot of experience working with large budgets, anywhere up to $150 million in 1 month. My time is spent between my family on seeing some committees that I am on, like the Weld County Human Services Advisory Committee, as well as the Weld Faith Partnership Council.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. My name is Natalie Mash, and it's been my honor and privilege to serve on the Greeley School Board for the past 5 years. I was appointed to a vacancy and then elected in 2019. I grew up here, and when my husband and I decided we were going to make Greeley our home as well, we decided to be champions of Greeley, and that meant spending our money at local businesses and serving in any way that we can. Some things I'm proud of from my time being on the board is the partnerships that we have and the trust trust that has been built with the community, as evidenced by the passing of a bond and our mill levy override, also the renewal of the mill levy override. That's allowed us to create diverse educational offerings for our students with our career in tech ed. There's something for everyone in this school district, whether you're interested in STEM or the arts, culinary, agriculture, etc. And we've been faithful with the finances that have been entrusted to us in such a way that we were able to build an entire extra building of the Career and Tech Ed Center and Jefferson High School.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with questions. Again, you don't have to answer the question it passed to you, but if you'd like to, you have a minute. And thank you, City Council, for letting your moderator start with you. I've been coached and I am coachable. So we're going to randomize a little more in the middle. Thank you, Melissa, for taking the middle seat. So we'll work through that. We're going to start with Natalie this first time, but then we'll randomize a bit. So tell us a little more about why you've decided to run for a board seat in elementary and secondary education.
So as I mentioned, I wanted to be a champion of Greeley. This was kind of in the early 2000s when downtown was still struggling, and I understand that a healthy school district creates a healthy city. And so those two things kind of went hand in hand. And I feel like over the last 15 years, Greeley Evans has really just flourished with being a destination location for downtown, arts and culture, amazing restaurants and breweries, et cetera. And at the same time, the school district has become a destination district for educators to come and work, and as well as for our students to have so many opportunities to become career and college ready. I didn't realize, the strengths and challenges of my city growing up here, and when I began to learn about our beautiful diversity as well as the racial disparities, some of the struggles of our poorer families, I wanted to be able to make a difference, and I think that education is the way forward for our families living in poverty.
We're going down the line, right?
For this time we will. Yep,
Okay,
and then
okay. I
I'll
just wanted to make
randomize
sure.
after that.
So for me, like I said, I was a single mom. I lived in poverty for a long time and was able to finally one day not reapply for welfare assistance. One of the greatest days of my life. My daughter and I celebrated for sure. In addition to that, my children are biracial. This gives me a great opportunity to get to learn and understand some of these other cultures that make up this beautiful city that we are in. I'm here to bring another voice to the table, somebody else to say, hey, this is something that we might be able to do. What about an opportunity like this? I'm interested in bringing all of the ideas that I've been able to bring to the Weld County Human Services Advisory Committee and the Weld Faith Partnership to the table, along with the Greeley West School Accountability Committee and the District Accountability Committee for District 6.
How can you please repeat?
Absolutely. Tell us more about why you've, I'm actually going back to the other question. What do you see as the school district's role in retaining and attracting new businesses to Greeley? I was on the right question. Okay. Tell us more. Sorry, let me back up. Tell us more about why you decided to run for a board seat in elementary and secondary education.
Okay, well, as a child, I personally, I was a kid that was on the IAP, and my family didn't really know hardly any English. I spoke Spanish first, then English, and it was really difficult to really get through school. And I don't want kids to have to go through that same problem. I want children to be able to have the resources that they need, and their families as well, because a lot of times families do not understand or even know that they even have rights to be able to get the help that they need in every aspect in the school. So to me, it's very important, and that's one of the biggest things, being a child that grew up with only Spanish in the home.
All right, wonderful. Brenda, you're next.
Sure. Similarly to Yvette, as the daughter of Latino immigrants, I have a deep gratitude for the opportunities that my education has afforded me, despite my family's humble beginnings. And I believe, along with District 6, the mission and value that with a high-quality K-12 public education, every student can achieve. I just believe in that. I'm also a mother. I have 2 preschool-age children, so have some skin in the game. They'll be starting in D6 next year. here. And I believe cultural representation matters. 22,000 students make up District 6, Greeley and Evans. We have 22,000 students in our schools, and nearly 65% of them identify as Hispanic, and I think it's important to have my unique perspective on the school board. I also think being bilingual is a superpower, especially in today's global economy, and I want to expand those opportunities for our students. I also want us to focus on early literacy. We have a pre-K in 6 of our primary school sites. I would love to see one day a pre-K in all of our elementary schools.
I've been here since 1981, and I've seen the school district throughout my career in highs and lows. I've seen it in pretty low times, and lately, over the last, I'd say, 5 to 10 years or whatever, it's been on a growing trajectory. And we're actually doing quite well right now with all of these innovative programs. Our new CTE center, I never thought I'd see 2 mill levies pass in our community, and a $395 million bond for Greeley West. Simply, not just for Greeley West, for all these facilities that we've been building in this town. And I do not want to see that stopped. This is not a time for stopping. It's a time to see where we're going to be going with this. And that's why I'm running for the board. There are people in the community that would like to see that stopped. I'm not one of them. Thanks.
All right, Dorn, I'm going to have you pass the mic to Elda. We're going to start with you in the middle this time. And we're going to get to the question I was excited to jump ahead to. So here we go. Here we go. Are we all prepared? And then we can just randomize through the audience. What do you see as the school district's role in retaining and attracting new business to Greeley?
Well, I would say that one thing is preparing our children, our youth, and expanding our trade and also our trade and our and creating more and creating more apprenticeships as well to add to the workforce as well, and so there would be a bridge between education and work, especially for those who choose not to go to college, they just want to take a trade, and also make sure that the kids that are going to go to college, that we have them well prepared so that they can later on be productive members of society and in our communities and be wanting to come back here to Greeley to work again.
Thank you. All right, we'll go to Stacy next.
So I believe the district's responsibility in attracting and retaining businesses is to not only make sure that the students are prepared for jumping into the workforce, but also are accountable, that they know how to conduct themselves. Businesses aren't going to want to open up shop here if they have a high turnover rate. No business wants a high turnover rate. And if our students aren't accountable and they aren't prepared academically to take on those roles, there is going to continue to be a high turnover rate, and we are not going to be a destination for businesses to come to. We also need to make sure that they are respectable. We have community members that talk about the students that ride the city bus here and how rude they are. I spoke with a city bus driver because I wanted to get it from their perspective, what's going on. And she informed me that she had actually had to kick District 6 students off of her school bus because they were jumping another student with older riders behind them. We need to work on that.
Natalie, you're next.
I think the district can work with businesses to retain and attract new businesses. As I mentioned before, healthy schools equal a healthy community. If we have healthy schools, businesses want to move here because their employees are going to want to raise their kids here. They can say that we have an excellent education provided here in Greeley. Healthy schools also help to create a safer community. Our home values and our business values increase. And then in addition to that, it would be it's wonderful to tell our businesses that we have a robust workforce, that our students are exiting high school with industry certifications in construction, electrician, welding. We have our kids are ready and willing to work. And I do agree with Ms. Castile that we need to also teach our children those soft skills of professional communication, collaboration, working together, being people of integrity.
All right, we'll pass the mic down to Doris.
Well, obviously, that's a big question on how we retain and attract businesses here. I mean, that's been an ongoing challenge for my entire career in School District 6, but I'm pleased to say that businesses do find Greeley to be an exceptional place to come to and for their employees to have children in the schools. And now that School District 6 has these two major pathways, the school to career and school to college, we are giving students more opportunities, including internship programs with businesses, so the students can get their feet on the ground and get established with these connections. Businesses like this sort of thing. And I believe 14 to 20 businesses just this fall signed up to be a part of the internship program here in School District 6. Again, I want to see these things continue. I think it's very attractive for businesses all over the place when they see that.
All right, so just like Natalie said, good schools are good for business. But good schools can attract individuals not just to work in Greeley and Evans, but to live in Greeley and Evans and spend their dollars locally. I was at an event not too long ago at UNC. It was for the new College of Medicine that's programmed to open in 2026. We were recruiting volunteer doctors from Banner to take medical students under their wing and let them shadow during their clinic time and their hospital time. And in the group of physicians that I was with, not a single one of them except me lived in Greeley. And that was really disheartening for me. And now that we're opening a new medical school, that's going to bring a lot of faculty, a lot of jobs, but I want those families to stay here. I think we needed to brag about all the things that we're doing right. We have a lot of school choice in District 6. We have 6 charters, 29 district schools. We work well with our charters. We have magnet schools, career pathways, paid internships, now the Career and Tech Ed Center, concurrent enrollment with Ames and UNC. So I think we need to be better at bragging and talking up District 6 because it should be a destination district, and it is.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and have you start since you've got the microphone this time. And we'll try to make it through everyone and their questions. So what do you believe is the school district's role in preparing the future workforce in our community? This might be one of the things I hear most from our businesses. So
yes.
Anxious to know your response.
Yes, so it's funny because this question reminds me of Kyle Bentley, who's a business owner and serves on our school board. And his viewpoint is so valuable. He told us at negotiations this year, our job is not just to teach our kids to read, write, and do math. That is definitely our job. But it is just as much our responsibility to teach our kids professionalism, to teach our kids to work on time, to take ownership, to take responsibility, to follow directions, to be dependable, to be good employees, right? So I think that is definitely part of our job to teach those soft skills. I also think by having a larger bilingual workforce that will really help with the global economy that we live in. It'll be a huge benefit, especially in Greeley and Evans. And the Career and Tech Ed Center, it has been so popular. We have such a long wait list to get into these welding, construction, cybersecurity pathways. Expanding on that program, I think, will really help our workforce.
All right, Elda, we'll come to you next.
Well, I think Ms. Campos Spitzy said a lot I was going to say, but it's just making sure that our children really are prepared for the future in so many diverse ways, especially like it's been echoed here in this panel so much, just making sure that our children are well-educated, not just well-educated, but just well-mannered. It is so important because if we don't have that, there is not a foundation, there is not a strong foundation, and we need that, just me personally, when I went last year to one place, there's a youth that was on his phone and was extremely rude to me when he was trying to check me out. And that was unacceptable. We need to teach our children so much more than what they're doing now. Instead of being on this, they need to actually learn.
One of the things that I really, really enjoy about Greeley-Evans District 6 is the CTE program. When my children were starting high school and I had realized that we had to kind of pick some type of a major, like an area to focus on, I thought this was interesting, but also I enjoyed it. How many times have kids said, why are we learning this? I'm never going to apply this in school. Now we have a program that will help mold their education so that they are prepared. But something that I think that we could definitely improve on, like what we took from University High School with the CTE, is taking from them also the job shadowing and the internship as a graduation requirement. Here we have an opportunity to truly put our kids into this workforce, to have them get experience, to have them understand and to see in a controlled environment how coworkers treat each other, how employees are supposed to behave with customers, and give them that true hands-on experience. I really believe that that is one of the best things we can do.
So career and tech education has really been highlighted, and that is an amazing offering that we have for our students who maybe aren't college bound. I also want to call out just the amazing opportunities that our students have living in a town with Ames Community College and UNC. And thanks to our voters passing the mill levy override, we're able to offer concurrent enrollment to our students, and even some of our students are able to graduate with their associate's degree. In terms of internships, this year we were able to place over 150 students with internships with local businesses, and as Mr. Azari mentioned, more and more businesses are stepping forward and saying, I want a D6 intern. What a great way to kind of grow your own and for our students to get some opportunity to see, maybe I want to pursue this career. We've heard from a couple of kids who are like, I thought I wanted to go into childcare, and then I was very aware that I didn't after my internship. But that saves them time, and changing majors and things like that later.
We have one more candidate to hear from on this question, correct, Dora?
And this is where I say it's all been said. I mean, there's such eloquence, okay? Now, I'll just share with you a personal story. At Greeley Central High School, I had the opportunity to teach a class called Career Life Choices, right? And the class is asked a basic question: what do you want to be when you grow up, right? And kids would say all sorts of things, but we couldn't really put it in concrete. I mean, if a kid said they wanted to do, let's say, they wanted to build homes. Well, back then, there was not a whole lot you could do with that. Well, now in School District 6, you can. I mean, we have these classes in place. We have the horticulture program, agricultural program at West. We've got the arts magnet program. We've got the Health Sciences Academy, ROTC, of course, and now we have the CTE Center. I mean, now we have something to talk about with the kids and give them direction and give them, more importantly, hope for the future. And that is really awesome.
I don't think I've started with you yet, so a question for you. How do you believe Greeley-Evans School District 6 should plan for the growth of the communities it serves?
This, as Melissa McDonald said earlier, is very, very important. North Front Range Metropolitan Planning Organization, right? Tracking growth over the next 50 years. We're going to be doubling our growth here in Greeley, whether we like it or not. Okay, there's a lot of us in this town that are like, we like this, small town feeling. We are growing and we need to prepare for this. And fortunately, our superintendent right now, who I support, is looking down that road, and she's acquiring land, and she's planning on continuing building schools. We need to support Evans in having a high school down there. We all know what the growth looks like out west. We're going to continue to need to support that as we approach that Windsor boundary and our new homes, including the new Habitat homes that are being built, which is just fantastic. So we need to support and plan for that growth. It's very, very important, and we're all in it together. As cliche as that might sound, but it really is true.
All right, Brenda, you're up.
Sure. So Northern Colorado is definitely growing. We are the more affordable choice on the Front Range. And thanks to the taxpayers, we were able in 2017 to pass the mill levy override, and then just last fall, almost by 70%, extend the mill levy override into 2033. That allowed us to have an additional 10 mills in order to fund our public education. And those mills have not gone to waste. They have allowed us to maintain our student-teacher ratios. They've allowed us to replace RIVs and school buses and service vehicles. They've allowed us to increase the salaries of our hourly support staff to stay in line with the market, and have paid for our high school students to have these paid internships and to have concurrent enrollment at Ames and UNC. These dollars are so important for us to keep, and please look at all of our platforms, because there are some people sitting on this stage who want to roll back that mill levy. I also want to talk about passing a new bond. We still have buildings to replace, like Scott and Brentwood, a high school to build in Evans. We have work to do. Our community is growing and we need to build.
So I do agree with the part that the school is already doing a lot. The school district, is already doing a lot for the future and future planning. But also, the one thing that we can also do is just make sure that in this growth that as we're preparing, that we don't fall, or the kids don't fall in the cracks too, because that can happen too with growth. So we need to prepare and make sure that all our kids are still being taken care of as much, and also because like what we already said, there's already a lot of things already in place and already. So I don't think I have too much more to say on that one, because that's one thing that I think that the school district has done very well already, and that we could always improve and go more on that as time goes on when that time happens.
Thank you.
So I definitely agree, the community is ready to support these children. We just need to make sure that the return on investment is there for the community members. This year, the district gave away over 4,000 backpacks to students whose parents could not afford supplies and backpacks for them. On a regular basis, you will see people looking for housing on Facebook, and they have to say, please, no more than $2,000 for a 2-bedroom. We need to make sure that with our growth, that we're taking care of our citizens that are here now. I was very interested to hear about the deal that the district has with the city in terms of the funding that they receive before a new residential is built. I think that, as long as we are preparing and saving that money correctly to help build new schools, I think that would be great. In addition to that, I would definitely like to see a high school in Evans.
So before we brought the bond to our citizens, we did a very comprehensive facility assessment and facility master plan. And so I'm very glad to see that we have a plan in place. We know how many students we are still over capacity in the district. Unfortunately, our first bond was not the full total of all of the improvements and the expansion that we need. But we have a plan moving forward, and we won't be caught on the back foot with just adding portable classrooms to our schools. Some of this has been done, as has been mentioned before, with partnerships with the cities of Greeley and Evans. There's been multiple land swaps, and hey, this looks like a good piece of land for you, but we'll make this trade and things like that, as well as Ms. Castile mentioned, the funding that comes from new developments for future buildings. So I appreciate that. It is a very big task. The amount of growth that we're going to experience is a little bit mind-boggling, but absolutely we are prepared to continue to build beautiful buildings with the partnerships with our business community and with our voters.
Right, this time we're going to start with you, Stacy, because I believe you're the only one I haven't started with so far. So I'd like to ask the question, and you all touched on this a little bit, but we'll go a little deeper. What's the best way to ensure our schools have the funding they need? I will mention, just as a point of privilege, since I'm the moderator, the Chamber of Commerce has been very supportive of bond issues as they've come through and the infrastructure needed for our schools. So if you can dig a little deeper into making sure schools have the funding, and what would your position be on future bonds and growth?
Well, I definitely believe that this community is prepared to fund these students, but I definitely believe that we need to reassess how we are currently spending. As a self-proclaimed internal controls freak, I love that, and I want to get in there and to see and make sure that we are spending the best way that we can of what we currently have. I believe that every couple of years an evaluation to make sure that our overhead is not outweighing some of our other fees. That's more important than to do first, than to jump into saying, how are we going to get more money? I believe that spending wisely is the best way to proceed for our children. I do not think that if we are recklessly spending, that's going to help us get more funding in the future. I'd like to see how we are currently working with the funds that we have and to reevaluate.
That was very well put, Stacy. So one thing that for me, also working in finance, it's something that's really important to just look at how everything's being spent and make sure that we're not misallocating any funds in any places, that if there's something that's been missed, that we can shift it and make sure that the money that needs to be saved, and the money that needs to be spent wisely. It's really important that we look at every cent. It's not just every dollar, but every cent, because in the long run, every penny counts, right? Especially with the economy that we have right now and with inflation that we have right now, we need to also make sure that we prepare for that too as well, because inflation is making our costs go up pretty high. And yes, we are very well prepared, in this city, I think, to make sure that our kids do have what we need for growth, but also make sure that there's accountability with every single cent spent and make sure that everything's transparent.
And so I'm glad Yvette ended on transparency, because that is one of the focuses of District 6 Innovation 2030 plan. It is that we are operationally effective and that we are transparent. I'm not sure if you are all aware, but the state of Colorado is one of the most underfunded states as far as public education goes. The funding we get from the state is very low. We actually are 49th out of 50 in the state of Colorado for our starting teacher salaries. So we have to rely on local taxes to make up for what the state isn't giving us. And I think all of us who are on the board pride ourselves on how transparent we are and how accountable we try to be. If you have a report to the community, every person in Greeley and Evans should have gotten this mill levy override by the numbers. It tells you exactly where the money is going. It went to 47 new school buses, 12 full roof replacements, 23 new service vehicles, replacement computers for 700 and more staff. Over half of our hourly employees receive salary adjustments. So it is there. We are trying to be transparent, and we're not asking for money that we don't need.
Yeah. So of course, the majority of our funding comes from state funds, and to understand the school finance formulas, you almost need to have a degree in math. But we do look at those, and we do need to advocate for our school district. As Brenda said, we serve a vast population of students in poverty. So we need to find ways to generate funds to support the needs of students at other school districts around the state may not have that same challenge. Fortunately, in our town, our citizens, or at least the majority of the voters, voted to extend the mill levy override and also the bond. I'm on the Mill Levy Oversight Committee, again, the transparency factor, and those funds are being spent in accordance to the ballot language, and a lot of supports have been put into the system for our students. But this needs ongoing oversight, it needs ongoing communication, and we need to have ongoing advocacy at the state level for districts like ours.
All right, and then I think Natalie.
I'm very proud of our finance team at District 6. Every year we have an audit that always comes back clean, as well as there's a national award for the way that we report and the way that our budget is presented that we have also won many years in a row. Our CFO really understands the project, all of the programs, and that they represent people and how they affect each student. So when we had to make cuts back during the pandemic, I felt very comfortable that she knew exactly where those dollars could be best pulled from. But yes, our mill levy override, it increases with our property values, but it's still just right there with inflation. And as Ms. Yvette mentioned, you know, inflation has increased the cost of all of our supplies that our mill levy override goes to pay for as well. So I think that the mill levy override and the bond really are a way for the community to come alongside the school district and have that buy-in and have that partnership. And there are many, the Citizens Oversight Committee for both the MLO and the bond allows our citizens to be a part of that decision-making.
Okay, we're going to start with you on this final question, and I'm actually going to combine two questions here into, I think, the things that are most important. We want to leave time for our Ames candidates and also a couple of your questions at the end. So we'll ask you to kind of expedite through this final question, and then we'll leave time for a close. But to combine the last two questions, how do we support civility, partnership, and community? And I'll start.
So strengthening partnerships is one of the goals in our strategic plan. And as I think I kind of highlighted with my opening comments, the partnerships are what have made District 6 successful over the past 8 years. And I do give a lot of credit to Dr. Pilch, who is a unifying force here in the community. She's very well respected and knows how to build those partnerships. And it used to be always the school district going out and seeking those partnerships. And now folks are coming to us and saying, how can I help? And I want to be a part of this, and I'd like to work with your students as well. I think partnering with nonprofits, with faith partners, with the business community, and with our families, this is the way that we also gather all of the voices in the room, all of the voices in the city. We're making decisions for nearly a quarter of the Greeley-Evans population with our 22,000 students and nearly 3,000 employees. And that is a really big task, and we want to make decisions that are going to meet the needs of the majority.
This way? Okay. So I believe that our schools are extremely diverse right now, and I believe that we can continue growing on that if we show those kids how to be unified together. An example of what we're currently doing that's not helping that is pushing panorama surveys that are focusing on race, cultural, ethnicity, background, and income status. Our children shouldn't be worrying about that. Our children should be learning how to love their fellow classmates for who they are as a person. And I love to see how the community comes together. Back to the Facebook pages, like the Greeley community pages. I love when teachers go on there and say, hey, I have a student that doesn't have any pants. And within 10 minutes of that being posted, there's probably 15 responses. What size, what color, what length? I've got 4, I've got 10. This community is rallying around these teachers to rally around their students, and that is one of the most amazing things. They don't need the district administration to come in and help them. They don't necessarily need any community partners. We are a community, and I would love to see us continue to grow that way.
Yes, we really are a very diverse community, and more we're becoming even more so. And I'm just really, I'm proud of that. But we also, for us to all retain our, our heritage for one thing, but also love everyone else and just show them with kindness. And another way is also to make sure that every single that there is always a bridge between the school and the communities in a very open way, and also with the businesses, as you know, that as our children go in, you know, and our families go into these businesses, that they can see and everybody can be that pride that we have in who we are as a community. Because if we are not doing things as a community, then we're Lone Rangers, right? And it's really important for all of us to just stick together, because it's just when the floods happened, we came all together. We all were a team, and I love that about our community.
So promoting civility amongst diverse groups, I really like that prompt. It actually really reminded me of Dr. Deirdre Pilch, because when she came to this district about 9 years ago, there was a lot of animosity between the teachers union and the district leadership. And she was able to bring a model called consensus, which is really just a model about actively listening to each other and coming together. And now we enjoy a win-win relationship with our teachers union. It's led to increases in our teacher salaries and improvements in the supports we can give our teachers in the classroom. But community partnerships is probably my favorite thing to talk about. The Success Foundation, the amazing partnership we have with them, has led to food pantries in many of our schools, smart labs in all of our schools. They've partnered with us in order to open the Career and Tech Ed Center, in order to get equipment for the building. The Well Trust also came alongside of us for that. Our partnerships with Ames and UNC as far as concurrent enrollment goes, and the summer paid internships. We were able to have 142 students, and that required 48 business partners from across the community to allow these students to do internships with them.
You're absolutely right. Our community comes together in times of crisis, and that has always been important to me. I encourage everybody to run for office, because I'll tell you one thing that it has shown me, and that is in the vast majority of conversations that I have with people throughout this community, and I've had a lot of them, they've been very encouraging, very positive conversations. We have a community filled with people that have a grand vision and hope for the future. And I think if we all come together, we can accomplish those things. It's almost a business thing, right? We're working together and networking. We do have some issues of civility problems from time to time in formal atmospheres, and that usually can be handled if proper procedures are put into place. So I have good hope. I've got great hope for the future for our community.
Doran, we're going to start with you. We're going to move our way down the line for the close. If everyone can stay as close to time as possible, that'd be great, because we'd like to move along to our Ames candidates next. So we'll start with you.
I think I just gave my closing statement. Okay. So, hey, I'm honored to step up and run. I'm honored to continue my service to this community and the school district, and honored to work with fellow people in our community that step up and take on that challenge as well. I look forward to serving. Thank you.
Yes, and I just, again, want to thank each and every one of you for being here and wanting to be civically engaged and informed voters. Please check us out on our social media, on our websites. I like to end with my core values. They are justice, service, and community. And that's why I'm stepping up to be on the school board, to represent all of our students and make sure that all of our voices are being heard in the room.
Well, I am a mother of 4 kids, a single mother of 4 kids, and I thought that this was extremely important for me to be doing, because for one thing, we need diversity. We need to make sure that our voices are being heard, but also our community's voices are being heard. And I want to bring that, I want to be that bridge between my community and also for the schools. And I just really appreciate your time. Thank you.
So despite what some of the comments have been made about wanting to stop trajectory, the positive trajectory that the district currently has, or roll back the mill levy override, I have a question. Is it really trying to stop the positive trajectory we're on when only 30.9% of our students can read or write English language at grade level, whereas only 19.7% can perform math? I'm not asking to cause a disruption. I'm not asking to stop. I want to come in and say, hey, Are we truly doing everything we can? Because these scores are unacceptable. If our proficiency rates have increased the way they have, why are our reading and math rates so low? Where is the disconnect? Because there is one, and being passionate about it shouldn't be looked at as a right-wing extremist or someone who can't keep their cool. That doesn't make any sense. The children matter.
I want to thank you again for giving us the opportunity to share a little bit about ourselves. And it has been my great honor to serve these past 5 years. And I have experience, and I think that continuing leadership that has come to learn what we're doing in the district is vital. Ms. Castillo is right. We have work to do. We are doing a lot of great things. We have a lot of great supports in place, and we're innovating ways to continue to meet the very diverse needs of our diverse and beautiful community. And we have more work to do, and I would like to continue that work. I would like to support the current leadership with Dr. Pilch and raise up more and additional leaders and look to the future. I want to continue to expand those programs that we know are really working and serving our students, and continue to build the partnerships. I've been blessed to know many of you over these years, and it feels really rewarding to be in a room full of people who share a common goal of loving this city and helping to help it flourish.
Thank you all. Can I ask you all to please stand and give these candidates a round of applause? All right, we'll do a quick reset for our Ames candidates. John, we're going to ask you to start. I think what we're going to do is change format on you a tiny bit and just ask, rather than doing an open and close, let's do a 1.5 minute opener, and then we'll hop into some questions. That way we leave a little time for open questions. So we'll start with you and then go to Janine next.
Good morning. Thanks to all of you who decided to hang around. I know it's always hard at the end like this. I want to thank Ms. Henning and the staff of the Chamber for putting this together. It's always welcome in election season for this to occur. I want to congratulate and thank all of the people who are currently running. It takes a lot of guts to step up and step out, and each of you should be very proud of what you're doing, and I greatly appreciate that. And you know, I'm excited to say that I am a native of Greeley and Weld County. There's not very many of us around. I've been here longer than Mayor Gates, which is hard to believe, but it's only by 30 days. But you know, I am excited about Ames. It's a gym that I've watched grow for the last 50 years, from the Lincoln Building to where we are now. And what do our signs mean? You didn't explain it to us. Halfway through. Halfway, okay, thank you. And you know, I'm a graduate of CSU. My undergrad, my graduate work's at UNC. My career's with District 6 and middle level and high school. I was adjunct faculty at UNC in the School of Teacher Education. My family has been community servants for over 100 years in the city of Greeley. I sit on a myriad of committees, from Catholic Charities Migrant Housing to CSU's College of Humanities Executive Council, and I'm excited to be here and chat with you.
Thank you. Janine.
Hi. Good morning, everyone, and again, thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm very excited to be here. While I'm unopposed, you know, I don't take that for granted. I think that it was important to be here today and to answer questions, because I'm accountable to the residents of Weld County, certainly. So my husband and I have been here since 1972, and so I think there should be some status in the state for people that have lived in Colorado longer than they lived any other place. But we actually came here for him to go to UNC, and can't imagine living any other place. I spent my career in nonprofit management and as president and CEO. I've been on local, regional, and state boards, and so certainly not only know what it's like to staff and you know, empower a board, but also know what it's like to be on a small board and on a large statewide board. And so have been very active. My why, or are we going to get into that later?
Why is the next question, but if you want to cover that.
All right. My why is I retired in January, and being a part of the community and making a commitment to my community certainly wasn't going to end when I retired from my professional position. And so while I didn't know what that was going to be when I retired, I took time to think about that. And education, and I know this both personally and professionally, is the key to the well-being of our community and the lives of people. And so education has always been something that was very, very important. And I saw that both, again, personally and professionally. And so the other is that when I look at Ames, and I also have seen Ames grow during all this time, and they are innovative, responsive, and collaborative. And that is certainly something that I value and have helped make happen in the nonprofit community. So,
John, we'll go ahead and hop in for you as well. Can you expand a little more on your why and what makes you a strong asset?
Absolutely. You know, when you're in a community or a county, you really need to count on your assets. And Ames Community College is one of the finest assets that this area has. And not only here, but we have people who come from out of state in the metro area, and I think that's important. And Janine is correct when you would say that Ames has been very, very good at adjusting and modifying their needs. They started as a tech school, and what they've seen is, what do we need? How do we expand? We've gone from one campus to 4 campuses, plus the aviation in Loveland. And it's very interesting to see how we have career and trades, we have 4-year institutions, and we have continuing education for people who are interested in that. And for the people in here, I'm an old guy. The idea of having a drone school is unbelievable. I mean, I can't do video games, so heavens, how would you do that?
The next 2 questions, because they have kind of a similar tread. So, serving on the Board of Trustees, can you tell us a little more about what you view as the proper role of someone serving as a trustee, and then also kind of the board's current and changing roles around institution and community?
And what?
Around institution and community, kind of what you see those changing roles looking like. And this time we'll start with you, John.
Absolutely. So I had the privilege of working on the School District 6 Board of Education for 8 years. And in reality, the roles are very, very similar. And what you have to understand is the idea that you're working at a 30,000-foot view, and you're not the person that is working with hands-on with the students per se. You would enjoy that, but that's not your role. And the idea of understanding the roles and the norms of Ames is incredibly important. And I think that to be an outstanding leader, you have to be willing to listen. You need to be willing to collaborate. You need to make sure that you're working as a team with the president in helping the institution move forward. Concerning our community, what we need to realize is that everybody in this room has a thought and an idea, and it's important that we listen and understand are we combining 2 on this one or not?
Yes, so your time is up.
Okay, done. Okay.
I know, just gonna be tough on you. All right, Janine, you're up next. Same question though. What do you see as the board's current and changing roles in institution and community?
You bet. So I think it's clearly laid out, certainly, and that is to hire, evaluate, and support the president and CEO. It is to set strategic direction and policy, and to make sure certainly that we're meeting the strategic plan goals and the objectives, and it's to advocate, to be a champion in the community, But to do that, you also, as John says, you really have to be out there listening. And so we need to listen to the students, we need to listen to the staff, we need to listen to the president, and we need to listen to the community. And so I think the changing roles, certainly the Ames board has done an amazing job. I mean, if you just look at even the Ames of 5 years ago and today, it's just phenomenal how they have adjusted to the needs of the community, the needs of the business community for employment, and then responded to that. So it's to be there to do that.
Okay, all right, we're gonna start with you, Janine, on this one. Technology affects all stakeholders of the higher education community, and we've learned that even more so in the last couple of years. How will you advance Ames as a leader in technology development and the application of that?
So I am by no means a technology wizard, but I do know the importance of technology, and certainly, I mean, look at the advances that were made and the attitudes that changed during COVID. And thank goodness we were able to work as we did because of technology. And so it's moving fast. And so I will need to do a lot of listening and a lot of learning and relying on experts that, you know, I mean, I can visualize, I can apply, I can do all that, but I'm going to need to rely on the experts to say this is indeed how we can change what we do by using technology in a better and different way.
Wonderful. John, same question. You want me to repeat it?
No, but I agree with her. No, what I would tell you is that I'm a technological Luddite. And some of you are saying, what's a Luddite? You know, ask Siri. But I think what's important is that the technology is incredibly important. It doesn't matter if it is distance learning, if it's the drone systems, if it's aviation, whatever it is, how we communicate, how we work with others. I don't know it very well. I'll be just perfectly honest with you. And my goal and role is to make sure that I read and understand what the situation and the charge is for me. I need to go out and I need to make sure that I speak to people who have more expertise than I do. And I need to make sure that whenever there is a decision to be made, it's my role to be informed and be able to make quality decisions that protect all of our students, our county, and the state of Colorado.
So this time we'll start with you, John. Change management has become the norm as educational leaders. How have you led in that space, and how will you support the CEO, the students, and the organization as a Board of Trustee member in managing through that?
Well, I had the privilege to be part of District 6 during the COVID era, and it was incredibly challenging for everybody. It was incredibly challenging for families, for board members, our staff, whoever it is. But in the end, what you need to do is you need to trust the person who is leading, but at the same time, not be afraid to ask questions as to where and why we are going the way we are. And you need to also ask, how does it fit within the strategic plan and what we decide? So for me, it's a matter of understanding again, working with the rest of the trustees and with Dr. Bornstein to make sure that we're moving forward to make the best decisions possible.
Janine, we'll ask you the same question. Change management in education, how will you support the administration and the organization as they navigate that?
So I was with United Way for 36 and a half years. And when I came, we were a 500,000, and when I left, we were almost 6 million. And so change is something that certainly I experience each and every year. Some people say, how could you work for the same organization for 1 year? And I said, it was like working for 20 different organizations. So I understand change, and I understand change management. And I also know, and I also worked for a board. And so I know what helped me, you know, and what I needed during all that change. And I believe I can provide that also to the president, CEO, which is to be there to advise, you know, to support, to, you know, rely on that leadership team to help guide us, but I can be there to help support the leadership team in that regard.
This time we'll start with Janine. Do you see advocacy on behalf of the college's vision and strategic priorities as your proper role, and how would you begin?
Absolutely. It's certainly one of the points of in the job description is advocate for the college. And so I would start by listening. You know, it's going to be like a fire hose for the first year or so. And that's because it's going to take listening to board members that have been around. It's going to be listening to the leadership team. And so it's going to be a lot of listening during that time. But being involved in the community, that's something that I did my entire career. And so being out there to advocate, I mean, there are so many exciting things that people don't even know about, even though it's been in the press and all of that. And so to be out there advocating and in the community is something I certainly have done and will continue to do for Ames Community College.
Thank you so much. We're going to wrap with this question today. This role requires... Oh, sorry, did I skip you? Look at me, just launching in.
There's only two of us. Yes, you did.
There's been a lot of back and forth today. You're it.
John.
Thank you for stopping me. John, floor is yours.
Holy smokes.
Floor is yours. Floor is yours.
I'll be really quick then. I got 12 seconds now. Okay, good. Okay, I got it. I agree with Janine. It's really, really a matter of listening and learning. And it was amazing when I was a District 6 educator. I tried to understand the whole district, but like Janine, it'll take a long time in drinking out of that fire hose. So I plan on that. But that advocacy component is what, like Janine, you gotta be visible. And I like to go to events. I like to be seen. I like to shake hands and kiss babies. And so what's important is that you're out there and you're seen. But for me now, it would be countywide as opposed to just within the community. And I'll be proud to wear the Ames name tag and say, I am a trustee of Ames Community College. So that's something that I really look forward to.
Candidates are keeping me honest today. I mean, truly, just trying to expedite here. Thank you for that. All right, final question.
Okay.
All right. This role requires collaborative work with the CEO to learn more about issues, tuition rates, intellectual diversity, targeted research. What makes you a good fit for this role, and how would you work to ensure positive outcomes for the college?
Well, you know, when you look at leadership, you need to be put in the right seat. And I think that when I look at my skill set is I've been one of the people who's a worker, and I've been one of the people who's been a chair. And you know, when you're in this situation as a trustee, you're a teammate. I'm a teammate with Janine or Marilyn or whoever it might be. And the idea of us to work together is really important. But then as you go in and you work with the president of the institution, the idea that you are there to support her, question her, allow her to vent when she needs to vent, and just be a person who's a proponent for the institution. And to me, I can be that great worker or I can lead, but in this case, I'm going to be a teammate and work with the coach.
Janine.
Ditto. Collaboration is something that I feel like runs in my veins. I have been both participated in collaborative efforts and I have led collaborative efforts. And what Ames is doing and what the president is doing out there just speaks collaboration. I mean, the list is long of collaborations with businesses, with UNC, with School District 6. It goes Colorado School of Mines. It goes on and on and on. And so to be there for her, sharing that vision of how we maximize and make Ames Community College the best community college in not only the state but in the nation is something that I desire and want to work together with her on.
Wonderful. Well, since you've been gracious and expedited today, is there anything either of you would like to add? I'll just let you both go to kind of wrap up our conversation today. Thank you for your heartfelt service. And is there anything you'd like to add?
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I hope that you take your responsibility to vote seriously, and it doesn't matter if it's at the local, county, state, or federal level. And I want you to remember that the people here do a great job, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Janine?
And I would just again thank you to everyone for being here. Very excited, and just because, and I think I share that with the other unopposed candidates that were here, is that we don't take that for granted, and we're here to be accountable to the residents of Weld County.
Wonderful. Can I have you both stand? Can we give you a round of applause? Thank you. Thank you both. Well, we are right on the dot, and this has been a long forum. I'm sure a few of you need a restroom break as well. What we're going to do as a policy steering committee is we're going to pull together the questions you asked today. We will be sending out some candidate questionnaires to everyone running for office, be that our mayoral forum or the ones today. We'll be sending those out and turning those around fairly quickly to put on our website, along with our videos of these. So Levi, Robert, and the other members of our policy steering committee will sit down and be thoughtful with your questions and try to incorporate those into our questionnaires. So I just want to thank you for being here today. I want to remind you that the engagement you're showing today needs to last all year long. But I want to thank our candidates again for their heart for service, and all of you for your participation in community and being here today. So thank you for joining us.